Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Eliel. I am here today to talk about the energies of the next week from March 9th until March 15th. So, this is a week of transition. We continue with the manifestations of the lunar eclipse in Virgo and moving forward towards the end of this eclipse season that closes with the next new moon in Pisces of March 19th. So, we still have Mercury retrograde in Pisces, so in that area of our natal chart, perhaps the conversations are going to be developed or the important decisions after the awakening, which is after March 20th. This many times happens organically. I mean, even for people that are not involved in the astrological language. And we have other indicators of experiences that could be felt as suspended right now, and that they are going to start to have movement. So when I am talking about the fact that Jupiter is stationary already, because this week is going to be awakened. So this is the planet of expansion and opportunities for growth. I'm going to explain more about this with the first transit, but before that, I wanted to remind you that yesterday and today, March 8th, we are transiting the conjunctions between Venus in Aries and Neptune in Saturn. So it could be that the anxiety to move forward could impulse decisions that are accelerated but not aligned with what we need. Also could be that certain situations that are presenting restrictions are producing frustration or anger, and we have to give the space to ourselves to understand the purpose of that. Perhaps the anger could emerge because we are evading listening to ourselves, or because our perception of time right now, this is very linked with Saturn, is much slower from what we would like. I am saying this so you can question your decisions and you're not taking that from the escapism of what you are transiting right now, because consequences actually are going to be not building anything through those directions. So let's go with the first transit. March 9th, Mercury retrograde in Pisces connects with Jupiter stationary in Cancer in a trine. So a few days ago, Mercury had its conjunction with the Sun. I was commenting the last week. This aspect has to do with relations. We are realizing something. It emerges information that turns us aware of an aspect of our experience. And this trine is energy, super fluid, but it's going to be very linked with the things that we have done, that we have been doing. So this means that if you have been making decisions that are very nourishing with this genuine will of aligning you with things that actually have sense for your path, if you are willing to face mental narratives that perhaps are not aligned with the inner truth, this means to dissolve self-deceit, and listening to your intuition, or seeking how to express your creative energy with purpose, then you can find a result right now. Could be a opportunity that appears that someone else is suffering, could be an idea that is totally expansive and that renews our energy, could be develop or incorporating a knowledge that we feel very nourishing, or teaching it. And if we are feeling that way, it is because could be very linked with our purpose. Could be realizing that there are bridges to make healing decisions, and perhaps letting go of something that is not contributing emotionally, or doing that without that much resistance. Could be a conversation or information that gives a new sense to experiences of the past, so we can produce this liberation that creates a space for new situations and that are much more aligned with who we are right now and with what fits emotionally. This means people and situations that can really contribute with this emotional sustain, but because we are making decisions that have affinity or form with that. You have to look to the houses where you have the degree 15 of Pisces and Cancer, because those areas are going to be involved, but we are talking about signs of water. These are situations that can that can bring this emotional stability, even if we speak about something material. Also, topics linked with family, the family that we want to create for us, the home that we can generate inside, as much as literally the spaces or relationships that we consider home. Also, situations of the past, of our childhood, or other moments. All of these topics are going to be very present during the whole week. It is not only about these days, because on March 11th Jupiter is going to be direct. And Also, it is important to see this as a process from here and on until June 30th, because that is the last day that Jupiter is going to stay in Cancer. Then it is going to move to Leo. And during this time, it is going to show us we are going to bear the fruits that we produced before with our choices, with the opportunities or paths that we took that had sense, because not every opportunity or path has actually a sense for our souls. Okay, I'm going to continue. On March 10th, Venus in Aries creates this sextile with Pluto in Aquarius. This is a transit that only applies for this week. Is an aspect of opportunity, of something that can actually flow if we take action to generate it. And as Venus came from this contact with Saturn and Neptune, the opportunity could emerge in first place from a boundary that we understood that we had to establish for ourselves in other areas, relationships, or things related to resources, or an initiative that is very grounded to earth, but that at the same time could be constructing a dream. And this contact with Pluto Aquarius could be, leading that, taking that initiative to social media or creating with a group of people. Also could be manifested as connecting with someone else, and that and feeling that connection in a very magnetic way, in a very intense way, which are aspects of Pluto. But at the same time, this energy that give space for freedom and authenticity, which is more linked with Pluto and Aquarius. Could be a relationship that has the potential to bring powerful transformations to our life, or that the relationship or association could generate certain impact or contribution to the collective. In other level, we could talk about the desire of expressing ourselves in a very authentic way, letting go of the fear of showing ourselves as we are in a situation. So if there was something that caused difficulties or resistance, right now it could be expressed with greater easiness if you want to use this energy. Okay, March 11th, Jupiter direct in the degree 15 of Cancer. And the last two transits are pretty important because they are going to reactivate energy of eclipse. I'm going to talk about them, both of them connected. I am speaking of March 13th, Mars in Pisces making this conjunction with the North Node in Pisces and opposition with the South Node in Virgo, which are the mathematical points that are activated in eclipses. And March 15th, Mercury retrograde in conjunction with Mars in Pisces. So there is something in here that it was shown already. This is something that we have been reevaluating, that perhaps we see in a different way now. Could be related for some people, experiences that they have been evading, but they cannot continue to do so because what they are doing is stopping their own advancement. They are renouncing to themselves or their callings of the soul to sustain themselves in dynamics that are draining their energy without limit. This limitless thing is very Piscean. So these transits are going to invite us to make an evolutionary movement, and this action could require letting go of an experience that we have been transiting, that we have been adapting to, but it is not making us feel good anymore. Or letting go of a behavior that is generating the resistance to growth, from continuing giving energy with the expectation that other people has to change when the evidence is saying the contrary, forms of service or helping other people that actually haven't true purpose, and that's why they produce great inner discomfort, excessive self-criticism, or excessive focus in what is wrong in us or in situations that are preventing us from connecting with solutions, over adapting to limiting situations or in spaces where what we are giving and contributing is not appreciated, and we stay there for fear of losing something, when sometimes what we need is to lose so we can make a space to something new. Because lost, actually, it is not lost. It is a transformation of the energy. And the important thing is, everything is important, but everything that we could sustain in opposition to that inner coherence or in denial of reality is going to produce much frustration, anger, or we making impulsive decisions and imbalanced ones. But if we are willing to listen, we are opening powerful doors and allowing that our dreams and desires of the soul could take form in the matter. Obviously, the process is very linked with what we are transiting right now, with the path of each one of us. So the challenge in here could be letting go of something that we know that isn't working anymore. Even if the mind could turn those kind of behaviors or spaces as illusory areas of security, and surrender the path is proposing something better, even if we are not seeing clearly the how and we have difficulties to trust in the process. So this is what I had to tell you today. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.